I'd like to welcome all of you to our Board of Supervisors meeting this February 17th. We're going to get started with actually, is there any changes to the tentative agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay.
I have none.
All right. Let's meet with department heads and elected officials. Cheryl McVeigh.
Good
Finance.
morning. I have an agenda item.
Great. How was your weekend?
It was great. I had
Good.
Evie this weekend,
Good.
so I got to be grandma.
Yes, Grandma.
Yeah.
All right.
She can now do this. I'm so excited.
All right. You know, you got to take them.
Progress for a 2-year-old.
That's right. That's right. Shannon Prado, emergency management.
Good morning. I don't have much exciting. I did mention the weather spotter classes being all virtual this year. I did get the dates. They're on my website. They're on my calendar. There's, I want to say like 12 or 13 different virtual options for dates and times. I will be offering a viewing party, if I will, for one of the dates and times. That's to be determined and scheduled, but I will be offering the potential for people to gather and view the virtual option together. So that's my excitement.
Jared Lasser, land use.
Morning. Well, land use, just keeping busy as usual, and as I said before, regional planning, we're busy with a number of other things at the moment as well, grants and projects going on at the moment. But for today, we don't have anything on the regular agenda. We do have the work session about the Blood Advisory Board, but apart from that, probably expect another minor subdivision in here shortly, but that's all I have for the moment.
Okay. Brandon M, IT.
Just keeping busy, got, a lot of updates and projects going on. I still have a job posting on the website for system admin. That's gonna close out probably end of the month. And hopefully have candidates that look over by then.
Sounds good. KG.
Good morning. The Junior Achievement Career Expo, that went really well last week. We were out there Wednesday and Thursday and had a lot of 8th graders come through, and our drone display seemed to go over pretty well. The jail this morning is at 98 adults, 23 out of county. We are full. Several on the list for the residential facility, several on the list for prison, and then also several on the list to determine their competency for trial. So a lot of waiting going on with probably over a dozen inmates. Beyond that, I've got an agenda item, I think, the Minneapolis law enforcement contract. That should round out our law enforcement contracts for fiscal year 27. And I think that's about all I got for the board this week.
Well, all right, that's plenty. Rodney Bleasner, maintenance.
Good morning. Attended the monthly safety training last week. Other than that, keeping busy. Got a lot of different things going on. Nothing to report.
Okay. Thanks, Rod. Krista Miller, Health Department.
Good morning. We're also keeping busy. I don't have anything new to report.
Okay. Lisa Schaefer, County Attorney. Been busy.
Yeah, I am still alive. We have a murder trial that finished up last week with a finding of guilty of murder in the 2nd degree. So that's one of them who will be awaiting sentencing. It's a mandatory sentence. So I believe April 6th is the sentencing date, and then she'll be headed to Mitchellville. Just really enjoying the benefits of a full staff and the breathing room that it's giving. We had an attorney on vacation last week, and it wasn't utter chaos. We have one at training this week, and it's not utter chaos, that we have enough bodies to cover everything. So, that's been really, really nice. And this week and next week, our office is doing an hour-long slot with the Burlington Police Department for their law enforcement in-service training. We're just providing case law and legislative updates to keep them on the straight and narrow. But that's about it.
Brooke Marlin, Veterans Affairs.
Good morning. Our office continues to stay busy. Last week's coffee and conversation event was well attended with 31 participants. We were joined by several partner resources as well. James Gaddy with the Iowa City VA Suicide Prevention Team was there. Zach Nelson with Home Base Iowa and Jocelyn Gonzalez Williams represented the Self-Reliance Group. We also recognized 8 DAV volunteer van drivers for their continued service transporting local veterans to appointments in Iowa City. Our office coordinates that program for Des Moines County. Veterans needing transportation to Iowa City VA for appointments are encouraged to contact me directly for scheduling. And then through my involvement with the Self-Reliance Group, Veterans Services and Supports Coalition, we partnered with local elementary schools to create Valentines for veterans. And those have been getting distributed at local service organizations this month, as well as at Coffee and Conversation. And then on March 30th at 4:30, myself and Jocelyn will be attending the City Council work session. And that's regarding the free bus fare for veterans. It's currently been in effect since 2024. And so they're wanting an update for that. And we are asking for any veterans or citizens that would like to see that continue to join us March 30th at 4:30 for the work session. Other than that, I don't have anything new to report.
Okay. Chris Lee, Conservation.
Good morning.
Is the family all healed up yet?
Yeah, mostly, except my boy broke his wrist this weekend. So, it's always something in the weekend. But that's what happens with we have an extra 7-year-old that loves soccer. We had our ice fishing clinic on Saturday. Yeah. If we'd had that 24 hours later, you wouldn't have been able to get out on the ice with the warm up. But we still had 5 inches of good ice, and so we didn't catch any fish, but it was a nice day to be out. We're working on several different grant applications, looking at a REAP CEP grant to try to get a enclosed trailer to transport environmental education materials around with. And then we're starting on our Land and Water Conservation Fund grant to do some more improvements, paving of a big hollow. And so other than that, just kind of cranking on. The field team's working on revamping all of our boat docks. So we'll have those ready to go for spring.
Sounds good. County Engineer, Becky Purchase.
Not today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brian's back from vacation. Okay. Brian Carter.
You haven't gone any fun years since I left.
Oh, hold on. Sarah Marie, County Auditor.
Good morning. Getting back from vacation today, so getting back in the groove of things, gonna get caught up on all my emails and stuff. If any department head is going to ISAC, please let me know. I'm trying to get their list to them so that they have it updated. And you guys have a hotel room to stay at. So other than that, just business as usual.
Okay. And now for County Engineer, Becky Purchase / Brian Carter.
Truth to that, very so a couple things real quick. We took bids for our pavement marking program, which we do every other year. Low bidder was Cam Lines Highway Markings, and they were the low bidder previously also 2 years ago. They've been very good to work with in the past. I think we're fortunate. I think we're out of their area, but they've been willing to come down, and that's great. We did have 4 bids though, which is great too. Low bid was $141,186.81. Give you an idea, 2 of the high bidders were up around $209. So it's a very good price. In fact, it's a very low price increase over the last 2 years ago. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I want to say 1% or something like that. It was a very small increase. So anyway, that'll be this summer at some point. They'll repaint all the pavement markings in Des Moines County. Anyway, I also want to mention that our contract rock haul is starting today, and I want to take my minute, jump up on my soapbox for just a second and say that that rock haul that's starting today is funded by the Board of Supervisors, directly out of Rural Services. And the only reason that we have a rock program that can guarantee every gravel road in the county gets rocked every other year is because of this program. If and when things change, whether it be legislatively or whatever it is with the budget, and that ever goes away, the folks in the rural parts on the gravel roads will see less rock. That it will be automatic that will go away. So I want to mention that because it's a big deal to us. It's a big deal to the condition of our gravel roads, and So that haul is going on. We have inspectors with that the entire time. And they'll be hauling out of LMW starting this morning, already have started. So want to mention that and say thanks to the board. And then I would mention there's a program coming up at the Danville School. It's in March. I don't remember exactly what it is or what they're calling it, but they requested if we could participate. It's for K through 5, I believe, but they're anticipating some older kids too, just to get a look at. I don't think it's a career fair, but it's something along those lines. And so we're going to have a motor grader and possibly a dump truck out there, just for kids to be able to take a look at and see that area of it. And so just mention that if you guys hear about anything coming along. Like I said, I know it's in March and it'll depend on the weather and what we're busy with at the time, but that's our anticipation, is to try to support that. I want to say it runs like 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock or something like that. So sounds like a good deal, and hopefully it's a success for them. So other than that, there's a lot of stuff going on. We have all of our projects. I think everything's bid. Sounds like I think Becky gave you an update, but it sounds like the parking lot for the sheriff's office is going to be more mid to late summer than it is going to be anything earlier. So otherwise, we're moving along.
Becky Purchase, anything you need to correct that Brian said?
No, we're good.
All right. Okay, we'll move to discussion and vote. First, we have accounts payable claims in the amount of $666,000, $160.71 in checks, $88,075.26 in wire transfer payments for a grand total of $754,235.97. Can I get a motion to approve? Can I get a second?
Second.
Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next, we have payroll reimbursement claims in the amount of $140.08. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved in second, Sarah Marie.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. And next we have the City of Minneapolis, Des Moines County Law Enforcement Agreement. And I can read all this, but I'll just have you, this is how we do it, so. go ahead,
Sure,
break it
so each incorporated city within the county is required to provide their own law enforcement or to contract with the sheriff's office, and Minneapolis, Danville, Middletown, they contract with the sheriff's office to provide that law enforcement. It's something that, it's an agreement we put together annually. It's a great relationship. We love to provide it. I think they're very happy with the service. We contract for a certain number of hours, but we also provide response to calls and investigations, and as a law enforcement agency. So great relationship, and we're glad to be keeping that going.
You know how they say that in short form?
How they say that in short
If
form?
an incorporated city doesn't provide law enforcement, it's the mayor's job.
Well, the mayors just love it.
I've always said we'll always respond to any emergency. We'll always be there for that.
But no patrolling.
But if there's a nuisance item, which the people do tend to like to have taken care of, that would fall under law enforcement, which you need to have in place.
Right on, right on. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Moved in second, Sarah Marie.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yep.
Good thing they didn't have that when I went to school. Who was the mayor then, Jim? Pat Dean.
The sheriff's office wasn't providing law enforcement at that time?
No, they come to the county, but the trash guy was the same one that kind of patrolled town at night. Herb Aspenmeyer.
Trent, you just showed up. You got anything you want to say?
Sure, Lisa covered it.
She covered it.
So, now, I did email, so I've got the response for the iPad board. Sent out to you guys if you can look at it. I've gotta get that in today, by close business. Nothing else.
Okay. Good to see you. Okay, we have some personnel actions. All for the correctional center. One is for Rian, Anderson. Unpaid time 17.339 hours. Effective date, February 9th, 2026. The other one is for Rian Anderson, correctional officer. That's unpaid time for 16.85 hours. And then the third one is for Chloe Ravenscraft, a PT correctional officer, and it is for resignation. Her final termination date was February 18th, 2026. So can I get a motion to approve all three?
We'll move. Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yeah.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Next, we have reports from the sheriff's report of fees collected, January 2026. Sheriff's fees, $7,613.04. Mileage, $570.65. Rhythm and blues, $2,630.56. Interest is $6.81 for a total of $10,821.06. Can I get a motion to, oh, I guess I don't need a motion for that. Then 5F, we have minutes for the regular meeting on February 10th, 2026. Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in second. Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell.
Yes. Okay, other business is a public notice, Iowa Department of Natural Resources. A notice is hereby given that the Iowa Department of Natural Resources has under review an application for new prevention of significant deterioration air quality construction permits. The permit application was submitted on October 13, 2025 by IPL, Burlington Generating Station, for its facility located at 4282 Sullivan Slough Road, Burlington, Des Moines County, Iowa. BGS is a public utility subsidiary that provides retail electric service to customers in Iowa. In this project, IPL BGS is requested to install 5 reciprocating internal combustion engines within the existing facility to meet projected electrical demand for its customers. The 5 engines will have a total nominal power output of approximately 9 megawatts, will fire out natural gas only. Combustion turbines number 1 through number 4 rated at total nominal power output of approximately 93 megawatts. Along with their associated diesel startup engines, will be decommissioned as a result of this project. In addition to the 5 engines, IPL BGS is requested to install an emergency diesel. If I'm reading too fast, my daughter said, "Dad, you read too fast." So if I'm reading too fast, just raise your hand and I'll try to slow it down. That's just how I read. Anyways, based upon the information provided by the applicant, DNR has determined that according to the PSD regulations, the IPL BGS facility is a major stationary source. The PM, PM10, PM 2.5, blah, blah, blah. the significant thresholds that are subject to PSD review under this project. Best available control technology limits were established for the emission units and the project subject to PSD review. The permits also require stack testing, monitoring, and record keeping to demonstrate compliance with the emission limits and work practices. The emissions from this project as proposed will not cause or contribute to a violation of national ambient air quality standards or cause or contribute to an exceedance of PSD increment consumption thresholds. In addition, the project was not found to have any adverse impacts on soils, vegetation, or visibility. The permit application has met the requirements, and any electric copy of all materials the applicant has submitted, the draft permits, the technical support documents, the application materials, and all the other correspondence are available for public inspection at the Air Quality Bureau. I think that's pretty good. You guys want to?
It's in your packet, isn't it?
What's that?
No, it's in your packet.
Yeah, it should be in there.
I zoned off during that, if you would.
What's that?
I zoned off while you were reading.
You know what? Don't start none, Thomas. So, anyways, what, received on that, or
No other information received?
what's that?
No other information received?
Okay.
I saw it.
Anyways, if anybody has any questions on that or wants to see that, we can definitely get you a copy as well. Okay, any future agenda items?
I have none.
Committee reports?
I have none.
I had a
I have none.
rural utility service, sometimes to set the new rates for all of the entities that we got, and we only had a couple of them go up, that was because they had one or two customers that wouldn't pay their bill, and so everybody else had to fix theirs. We only went up about 2%, so it's still under the cost of living, and that's about all.
Okay. Now we have time for public input. If you would like to, you can always email us at boardboard@dmcounty.com. Again, that is boardboard@dmcounty.com. Or you can call at 319-753-8282. Thank you, Brandon. The number is 319-753-8282. You can call that directly. And is there anybody from the audience that has any? Wow, I didn't even finish. I mean, let me finish, for the love of Pistol Pete. Is there anybody from the audience or any of the ladies at the table that have any questions?
Ladies at the table. I'm Tracy Lamb with Hawkeye. So what did y'all do to get IPIB's attention? What's going on?
Mr. or Mrs. Smith, I guess, filed a complaint that when we have on the agenda for the work session road tours, that if there's a road tour, that it's not recorded, that Sarah doesn't go with the meeting, it's not a meeting. I mean, that's the crux of the response. By definition, it's an administrative procedure, it's not a meeting. But that was the complaint.
So there's been no, that was gonna be my question too, she stole it.
Question thief.
There's been no decision made yet for my PIB?
No, so I've got the response to the complaint put together, I've sent it to them so they can look at it to confirm, because I've asked each one, what's happened, how many of them have there been, so things like that, so they can look at it to make sure that, everything's correct. But ultimately, even if there's a quorum, and it doesn't sound like there's been very many quorums at all on road tours recently, just because, we've been busy doing other things. I mean, you guys know that for a while. But if there's a quorum, then they would still have to discuss something that would be within the realm. So there has to be either action taken or deliberation. And, what I've been told is that when they go, if they go, it's just Brian telling them stories and telling them about, Brian can be a talker, right? Where you at, where you at?
And Tom's stories, don't forget Tom's stories.
He's within striking distance right behind you.
Thanks, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm hiding right back
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So that, there's no deliberation or action that would take place.
So, just for clarification, because I think I know what you're gonna say, in a work session, because that's how it's billed on your agenda, which would be appropriate, there isn't a legal requirement for like a physical, like tape recording or, because there is an action taken. Is that correct?
Sarah's nodding her head, yes.
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 Okay.
And that is why it's not like, one of the other things that they had said was that it's not in the minutes every time. Well, that's because if it's on the agenda, it is for if, say they have a question during the meeting and decide to go on a tour after the fact, it's on the agenda if they want to. But if they don't go, then I don't record it because nothing happened.
Right. And satisfying the
they-
legal requirement is saying that they're going and
Correct.
I could go if I
Correct.
wanted to. see
Yeah.
Anybody can go.
Anybody
Yep.
can go.
Yep.
Long Summer used to do it all the time.
Every one of them said Leia used to go.
I've had more time than I do.
Leia used to go all the time.
Yeah, Leah was a regular. And, no, we'd love to have you the next time you go
I
online.
wish I had the time. Thanks.
I usually have this with everybody, but anyway.
For the record, I've had a lot of Hawkeye reporters go.
You have?
Yes. All the way back, literally
Aren't you
all the
so
way back to
interested
my
in roads?
beginning of.
What?
Are you interested?
Well, I like that they're there and I can drive on them,
Hey, ask Cochran.
If you think you don't want to listen to Brian talk enough in here, you go ahead and go on.
I mean, I do get my weekly fill.
I will say this though, on the road tours that I've been on, I've learned a lot about people that live in Des Moines County that are way older than me, that I don't know anything about, but Jim and Tom know. So anyways.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So it was a Mr. and Mrs. Smith that made the,
It just says
That's
Smith.
all it said, yeah.
It
just
just says
Smith.
Smith. So,
Thanks.
We don't know for sure.
no, we don't.
Anybody from the audience? Rose Fisher?
Nothing.
You ain't got nothing to say?
Nothing.
You know you always got something to say. Quick plan.
I'm elected to make a plug for the Crime Stoppers event this Saturday. It's out at Catfish Bend Casino this year. I think it's doors open at 6. But it's the Crime Stoppers event, big fundraiser. Many of the area departments announced like Officer of the Year and awards given. But I think they've got David Kroll, the band out there, and some entertainment. So it's open to the public, and if anybody's available to come out and support, I'd encourage you to do so.
What day is this?
This Saturday, at the doors open at 6.
Okay. Again, last call for alcohol, and anybody got something to say?
I did also fail to mention something. I noticed this weekend there was a big increase in field fires and some of the rural departments chasing field fires. I highly encourage folks to check the weather, check the conditions, not just the wind, but atmospherically, and check how dry we are. We're currently so dry. I understand that things need to be burnt off, but we have to remember that our rural fire departments are volunteer fire departments, and they get pulled away from work, which we're so fortunate in our county that many businesses allow them to leave work to go fight fires. But I would hate to have to turn on burn bans so early. I noticed some other counties around us have started that already. So just be smart. Make sure you check the weather, call into DESCOM, let them know that you're burning. It really helps our responders out, so just wanted to mention that.
And I'd like to piggyback on that. Every year, there's fires that get out, and we've tried to build a strong relationship with our fire departments. A grass or brush fire, or one that's crawling across the landscape, is a very different situation than a structure fire that fire departments are better trained on and more used to handling. And it is a massive resource suck to go out and put out a fire on the landscape. So I would second what she says. I just talked to my team this morning. We're gonna have all of our prescribed burn firefighting gear ready to go so that we can provide support to local fire departments as best we can. We've done training with all the fire departments around on how best to handle wildfires on the land. It is a very different situation than the structure fires that they're used to. So just with the wind predictions this week and with it being this dry, just don't. This is a bad week to light a fire.
It's supposed to be 35-mile-an-hour gusts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that about does it. Everybody, nothing else from the audience?
Well, as you guys know, just formally, I'm running for county attorney. Lisa's retiring, right?
Yes. 316 days.
She's counting down to the minute, but anyways.
No, that was today. Kinda gross.
So I took paperwork out, got everything
I signed it.
So, yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you, Trent.
Okay, thank you.
Cheryl Mack, what granddaughter do again this weekend?
It's a new thing.
All right, thumbs up. James, anything in closing?
So we got work session.
Yep. I'm about to get to that. I just want to make sure that everybody's, you got anything you want to?
Well, I could just use some more rest.
Okay.
We had grandkids this weekend, you know, a 4, a 5, and 7-year-old, they take the whole of it.
They're wonderful to have, they're wonderful to say goodbye to. Anyways, Thomas?
I might mention to the press, you'll see we've got several personnel evaluations here, and when I was here like a year ago, something like that, you recall, they said that you weren't allowed to do that anymore. The Supreme Court vacated that decision shortly thereafter, and I've got copies of those, what our attorney sent us, if you'd like to have those.
Oh, good. Yeah. I wouldn't want my employee evaluation.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but I know you were here,
Yes.
I'm sure you were here, and that they'd mentioned that some, a lower court had found that you weren't allowed to do that, and the Supreme Court vacated that, so we have, written requests.
I believe you.
Was you bad? Was you a bad girl?
Was I
Yeah,
bad?
because you didn't want to.
Are you gonna answer that, Tracy?
We're in open session.
Come on, let's go into closed session so we can find out how bad Trace was. But anyways, next we do have a closed session for maintenance director employee evaluation, per Iowa Code 21.5. Then we have a closed session for IT director's employee evaluation, same code obviously. Then we have closed session for the budget director's employee evaluation and closed session for the budget director and training's employee evaluation per code. Then we have a closed session for the county engineer's employee evaluation. And then we'll adjourn after that work session following for Cheryl Plank with Imagine the Possibilities regarding the sale of Douglas Street building. And Board of Supervisors, SCRPC for floodplain advisory board. So we're done, but we're not done yet. So anyways.
Will those last two be, they will be? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyways, can I get a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to open the closed session.
Second.
Sarah Marie?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Shane Campbell?
Yep. We're here for our work session with Cheryl Plank with Imagine the Possibilities regarding the sale of Douglas Street building. And we'll want to introduce.
Yep. So we want to talk about that, but we just want to update you on what we're doing at Imagine the Possibilities too.
Okay.
So I brought with, so you all know who I am. And so I brought with me 2 of our board members, and they are both on our local foundation, Imagine Hope Haven board, as well as on the Imagine board, and both live here. So Ruth was going to talk a little bit first.
Can you listen for the tape?
Excuse me.
This is being taped.
The tape, the audio, so you gotta state your name.
State your name.
And state your
I'm
name
sorry.
and everybody's name. Just
Okay.
introduce yourself.
I'm Cheryl Plank, and I'm the Chief Strategic Advancement Officer at Imagine the Possibilities, and I live here in Burlington. Do I need the address?
Yeah.
No, okay.
We go here.
Okay, I am Ruth Steens, and I'm president of the foundation board for Hope Haven, and I'm on the Imagine board as well, and I also live here in Burlington.
Yeah, and my name is Matt Shin. I'm on the Imagine the Possibilities board and also the acting treasurer for Imagine the Possibilities.
And I want to thank you for letting us come and meet with you and talk about what we're doing.
Well, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background, since the community has been so supportive of Hope Haven over, 50 plus years that we've been here, and about how we got to with Imagine. How did we end up merging there? I've been on the Hope Haven board for 12 years, and I was actually the president when we went through the merger. What happened was probably about 8 years ago, with the changing dynamics in our industry in Iowa, going to managed care organizations and everything, it was very clear that we had to really look at how are we going to sustain Hope Haven long term, especially for the clients and the families, because they want to make sure that they're taken care of long after they're gone. So some of them have been there a very long time. So we began to look at that, and we weren't sure what we were going to do. We knew that we needed a bigger footprint in Iowa with Hope Haven. And we didn't know if we would, look at growing Hope Haven, or would we look at perhaps what we were seeing at the time, a lot of the smaller organizations like us, and there were a lot more smaller than us, that were looking at sharing resources with some of the bigger ones to cut back on costs. So we also were in a very strong financial position when we began to look at this, because that was a good point, to start looking, not to be in dire need. So we began to look at that, and we actually looked at one very seriously on sharing resources much larger than us. That didn't really move with us because we weren't really aligned, we didn't think, with our mission and vision as well. And then we spent another year talking with one in southwest Iowa.
This was all before me.
Yeah, this is all before Cheryl. And in southwest Iowa, they were a little bit bigger than us, but we had a very good foundation, I think, that was also very attractive to a lot of companies. As well as like I said, we were very financially stable at this time. So we were in a good position. We've probably spent a year looking at them, their board meeting with our board, and it came to the point, I think, was we don't think they really got what Hope Haven was about, because as I was very concerned after talking to them, and they talked about, what we would change, and next thing you know, we're talking about merger and actually them taking us over, which we didn't think that's what we were going to do. It was almost like they were going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I don't think they got what we were doing so well at Hope Haven. And that concerned me big time, because obviously we were doing a lot of things right to have such a strong financial position, and the support of the community too. So we just parted ways after that. And then we were still open to looking, because we knew we needed to do something someday. We weren't in that position. We met with Imagine, and of course they were larger than us, and they had done different acquisitions over the years. And right away, we were more aligned than any of the others we had seen on, our mission, our vision, all of that. And so we had, were you in the initial meeting? Yeah, you were.
I was,
Yeah, with Imagine too.
Mm-hmm.
So we had several board members, and we have some on there who have family members at Hope Haven. So they're looking very closely too, for the longevity of their family, and so that was a match for us, and we began to then move towards the merger. And I can honestly say, unfortunately, with any merger, you're going to have some fallout from people who just can't adapt to change very well. I know that's what I did professionally for years in the corporate world, was helping organizations adapt to change. So I worked with a lot of mergers, especially after the fact when the fallout really happened. And so I could tell this was going to be, and so could the others. It was just like we knew after dealing with all the others. So that's how we ended up merging with Imagine the Possibilities. And I still believe it's been 2 years now that it has been the best fit. And Hope Haven continues to get more strong as far as financial stability, long-term, possibilities. So that's all I wanted to do, was talk to you a little bit how we got there. Because like I said, the community has supported and continues to support Hope Haven. They need to know, we just didn't wake up one day and said, oh, we need to merge, so.
Yeah, it really was about a preservation of our original mission. I was on the Hope Haven board as well, and I don't have the history that Ruth does on that board. But I could tell early on that the board had given quite a bit of time and consideration to finding a partner, because it was just getting harder and harder to continue to operate the way that we were. The cost of just everything, especially employee salaries, and when you're in a service-related industry, or it's not a business, but yet it is a business. You need to run it like a business. There's just a lot of strain. So finding a partner like Imagine was really good, because I felt like as a Hope Haven board member, what we were doing is we were solidifying the mission for Southeast Iowa for a very long period of time. What we were doing, because that's really what we're stewarding here, is making sure that people are getting the services and the resources that they need. And I felt very comfortable with that merger from Hope Haven to Imagine, because just if you look at the existing Imagine board right now, there are 11 board members. 4 of those board members are from Burlington, Iowa. So when you just take a look at the overall organization of Imagine, and you look at who's got the control, who's setting the mission and the vision, and who's engaged in that, we have a nice representation from Des Moines County on that board, and I think it speaks to the work that Ruth and the board and our position and all those good things that Imagine didn't want to throw out all the good things that Hope Haven was doing, because we were executing, and it made it just such a great partnership. I think one of the things that's interesting to know is, again, I think this speaks to the heart of usually, like when you're acquired, I've been through several of those through banking. Usually there's job loss. There's disruption that way. There was no job loss through this acquisition. In fact, actually, our employees received improved pay and better health benefits. They were able to be provided with things that, again, as Hope Haven, we weren't able to provide. And then I would just tell you the operational efficiencies that we gained. We struggled to find, one of the things when I was on the Hope Haven board, we struggled to find good financial oversight. We were having a tough time. We'd lost a CFO. We were having a tough time finding that person, having this kind of mass and size. Now, we don't have to worry about that. The people that are here, we can focus more on the people that we're trying to serve. So it's just been, from my perspective, I just want to reiterate a little bit what Ruth has said, is that I feel like it's been a great move for the people, that we have a mission, and I feel like we're stewarding an obligation to serve them here in Southeast Iowa. And honestly, I am just very impressed more and more as I get to work with Imagine and be a part of that organization.
Well, and in your folder, talks about all the services. We continue to do all the same services that we were doing, prior. And what's most important is there's a map in the folder, And one of the things that, you know, what a lot of times what we talked about before in this meeting was, you know, is there longevity, you know, how long we'll be here? And if you look at the map, all of these are agencies that were merged with Imagine over the years, and they all still exist. So there's a timeline in there too that since 2016, how many have merged. And we're pretty significant as a part of that merge, and so that's just kind of a reminder of why we're here. As you recall, it was a bit of a surprise to find out we didn't own the buildings. That's still, you know, still a bit of a surprise that we don't own the buildings, but which is part of why we're here, because the can barn is sitting empty now, you know, and has been for quite a long time, and it's still not up for sale. And there was an agreement in the meeting that the funds that you would get from the sale of that would be donated to help us upkeep our other buildings. And so we are here to ask where we at with that.
And Trent, you can probably back me up on this, and I like to spoke to Matt, Cheryl, I spoke to you. And yeah, that's what that money was donated for that purpose, and we want to see it. We were concerned whether we needed to sell it or you need to sell it, because Trent, and I think you might be right, that there might be some problem with the county donating or turning over property like that, rather than that might require us to sell it and give you the proceeds, rather than give you the land and you sell it, or the building and sell it.
So the land's already been, well, not transferred, but we've already kind of taken control of that land. And then pulled that out of the lease, so we can go ahead and move forward with the sale. I know that we talked about, or explored the option of gifting the land. And we got into, it just got really messy, right? And so I think now, when I say decision, no decision's been made because nothing's been formally brought to the board and voted on, but there was discussion of going ahead and selling that, and then from there, moving forward, and that you guys would consider donating those funds back. And I think the thought process was that those had been gifted in part to build those for Hope Haven. And so I believe that's the intent of the board. Again, we haven't had a formal vote. So with that said, you guys know full well, with all of the windmill stuff and then budgets, and then we're gonna come back to that. So that hasn't taken place, and frankly, it hasn't taken place because the board's been working on other priorities. Is that the way you want to say it?
Yeah. Pressing issues.
Yeah. Yeah, we're aware, and we understand that. I think I'm kind of speaking for myself, just as a board member. Just really value the partnership of the county. You know, I guess from our perspective, it's kind of a simple thing. Like, we thought we always owned it. We maintained it. The upkeep. Now it's been, I think, a year. Properties don't get, the physical condition of a property doesn't do it good to be vacant, especially for, like, so value could be being lost. And then we also have these other properties that we thought we owned, we've been maintaining, which, you know, in my simple mind and world, it'd just be easy just to quit claim them so we can continue with our mission and so forth, because it's very hard to plan and be strategic about, you know, our you know, the residents that we have there and what we're doing with those properties and so forth. So I would just ask that, you know, if we can just, so we can get back to doing what we do and we can kind of just get this thing, you know, aside. Because it's been kind of a distraction too on our end, and it's been tough for us to plan because
what are the 4 or 5 additional vacant lots for practical purposes.
I didn't bring all, oh,
So as
Right.
far as, pulling out of the lease, wasn't it just the redemption center and then those, I believe there was 3 vacant lots?
right, all that are right there, yes.
Right, and then the rest are let to you
Yes.
guys, correct?
Yes. The rest we're currently leasing, but they're all buildings we thought we owned. But the ones that we're looking to sell,
Mhm.
there's the 3 empty lots and the building.
Yeah.
And if we could help make that easier to put it up for sale, I mean, I'd be willing to talk, I just don't think legally I can do that, right? Get a realtor in there to help you, like get that,
Not when you don't own the building.
I know.
They have to be legal.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We can,
But we don't, we made that agreement, so is there any way we can go ahead and move forward so we can get that going?
yeah, if you want me to put a proposal together and do a work session next week, and then have a vote the week after that to, do we wanna do a request for services?
You mean
Request
like
for
hiring a
proposal
realtor?
service, as far as realtor, we can do that, or we can just, contact and do an auction like we've done in the past. We can do a sealed bid like we just did.
We could decide that in the work session, if we get the work session going, so.
We can, yes.
I would like some input from Imagine the Possibilities. Is there a particular way you would prefer to sell it? A sealed bid or go through a realtor? This is well out of my wheelhouse.
well, we were in the process of working with the realtor to sell it when we found out we didn't own it, to sell it. So, it's whatever's quickest and easiest would be my,
Yeah, and whatever would garner the highest value, and you really don't know until, probably,
Yeah.
probably a proper marketing of the property.
I would think maybe I agree, maybe a realtor or something. So what would that entail? We would have to send out a request for.
I think we would wanna do a request for services and go through that process. And then we see who responds, with proposals and present that to the board. I wanna research it, and that's why I said I want a work session next week, but that's, the short of it is, we would wanna do that route in order to get a realtor. Now, obviously, selling something with a realtor, there's this question of what maximizes value, what maximizes time, and you never really know. I mean, as far as time, if we do a bid, whether it's a sealed bid or an auction, that we can pretty much set the time. We know when that's gonna happen, right? Downside with realtors, especially with a unique property, is it could take a long time. Downside with an auction with a unique property is you might not get a lot of interest. You don't know.
And I would like a little input from your board, or if you have a preference. If you've worked with a realtor that maybe you have confidence in, or I don't know. The last time somebody wanted to sell something around here, I apparently offended one of the bidders.
I think I recall that.
The realtor's gonna go in there and put a market value on what this building's worth.
Yeah.
We're gonna work with the assessors. And if putting it up for an auction, I'm not for that, because nobody gets out of what the building, what a realtor could get on an auction. And auctions for a quick sale and low dollars. That's my take on it.
I would agree with that, Mr. Curry. I feel like, it's been a year.
Yeah.
A little bit more time to make sure that we're maximizing the value. And honestly, we're being a good steward of the resources that we have. I don't know what a little bit more time would be to make sure we're getting the most out of it.
So yeah, I definitely want to get the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
And it was Tiffany Brockway was who we were using, and she had gone through the process of getting ready to put it up on the market, and then came down here and found out couldn't. So So, I mean, you probably have to do some kind of a request, you couldn't just choose.
Yeah, we'll have to go through the process.
Yeah.
And I'll have that outlined out step by step, what we wanna do.
But as far as whether you did it that way, I guess I don't know if you did a silent bid, how people, I don't know well enough about that.
I think you just wanna make sure that all the interested and potential parties know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew that there were several people interested in that building, maybe, you know, the auction thing would be fine, but I don't know who's, right.
And,
Yeah.
and I think in a perfect world, maybe you could list it with a realtor for a specific or a shortened period of time. That might get the word out, and then you could go to like some kind of sealed bid to kind of bring it to a close. Because I agree, we don't want this thing to sit there for another year and a half, and then you just lose interest, and we got to sign in the front. Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and have a work session on it then next week.
That'll work.
And then the week after, we can vote on it. We'll have to arrange a vote. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, it sounds fine to me. Let's get her done.
As far as for someone from our agency being here, I know I will not be, but I'll see if we can have someone be here.
Well, we'll just bring the hospital bed in here with you.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
All right.
Somebody might be able to be here to just
Yeah.
sort of.
To represent.
Yeah.
To represent, maybe throw in, because we'll be discussing, a realtor, how they want to go about that, and it would be nice if we could somebody you've worked with, if we could go do that, but I'm not sure we can do that.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, totally. And then in the future, talk about what Matt talked about with our other properties. That's the future, but getting something done with the can barn.
Sounds
All right.
good to me.
Hopefully it'll go real smooth.
All right, well, we appreciate your time and thank you as
Thank
always.
you.
Thank you,
I
guys.
decided I was gonna go to Minneapolis, so I decided to build a house. This is how real estate goes. And I talked to the realtor, I talked to the guy that I was going to, build a house with. Well, he had a realtor do his work for him, closing up and all that deal. She called me up the next day and said, we got somebody who wants to look at your house. Well, I'm not ready yet.
Not ready yet.
I sold my house in December, and we're not moving till March. And that's how fast
Yeah.
some stuff goes.
Yeah. I mean, and if somebody wants to purchase the building and those lots next to it, who knows what they could build on there.
Yeah.
Well, and that could be part of the discussion, and it could be, do we wanna try to sell that whole shooting match together? Do we want to try to sell the different parcels individually? I mean, cause they're really 3 building lots, so, I mean, and I'm not real estate is not my.
We get them sold, they can go back on the
expertise as far
tax
as that goes.
Right to that.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I like Hope Haven over the past. Like I say, I grew up in Minneapolis, and we had Greg Trolley that was out there for quite a while. Pat Egan, Pat, no longer there, he passed away. You got Tony Steffner there, And all these families was good friends of mine.
Yeah.
And they still are.
Yeah.
Place for them to go.
Yes.
I just know Hope Haven has been a blessing to Des Moines County. A lot of families, man, and those that they haven't, been a blessing to me. I'm grateful that my kids didn't need those services, but it's good to have them. And anyways.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
You have some of them working out at Culver's too.
Yep, we have them working all over
Yes.
town, yep. That was one of the best things that happened, right, when we no longer needed the work services building, and it could work out in the community. Yep.
We good? Okay, we're here for a work session with Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission regarding the Floodplain Advisory Board. Gentlemen, can you introduce yourselves for the record?
Yeah, Zach James, Assistant Director, Southeast Iowa Planning Commission.
Jared Lassiter, Senior Planner, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning Commission.
Okay, it's your time. Let's get it on.
As I read through this handout, it occurred to me that you thought you haven't raised enough problems for the county already this year. Jumping into the middle of something.
We haven't done anything.
Huh?
We haven't done anything, so.
They all say.
That's what they all say.
That's what they all
It's all the
say.
troublemakers always say that.
I don't know, I've read some emails.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
You can maybe share those with me, maybe, I don't know. No, this is something we've actually been talking about probably over a couple of years, and just, as the new year comes around, we had some vacancies that we would need to fill in the position, but then there's some new maps for the southern portion of the county along the Skunk River that came out, and really the only times we have met are to review the map changes or changes to the ordinance for this with this committee. So since we talked about it for a couple of years, we thought, well, maybe this is the time, since we need to do. If we're going to continue to have a committee, we need to do something now to either appoint some new people or, again.
And I should say, really, we'd only need to reappoint, because I've already confirmed that a couple of them would still be interested, and then the other one is the representative of the levy district, which, because Vicky Stoller recently retired, it sounds like it would have to be the current administrator for that, which I don't think should be a big. So realistically, it's not that we can't find people. It's just that we figured this was an opportunity to just put this out there, since it's been a while since this has been discussed in detail. This is a board that's been in existence for over 30 years now. Let's just take stock of where we're at, and whether, if we do want to keep having this board, let's just make sure there's a common understanding of why it exists and what we use it for. So yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole report here. I just wanted to give you a chance to give a little background here. But basically, it was established after the '93 flood, when the county was initially adopted the floodplain ordinance. They hadn't had an ordinance before, and I think that was in order to ensure that the county could participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. And obviously that was a benefit after that flood, given that a number of properties were seriously damaged as a result. And so it sounds like at the time, because there wasn't a 2-mile zoning ordinance and there was no zoning commission or board of adjustment or anything, including for subdivision review, there had been very little experience with regards to administering any kind of ordinance for land use, and also the floodplain in particular. The board felt that it would be beneficial to have this separate organization or separate a volunteer board of stakeholders that could discuss the issues pertaining to floodplains, and if somebody had a variance request or something that was potentially a contentious issue, that there would be an opportunity to have that discussion beforehand. So one thing that's important to consider, this was a board that was established by resolution of the Board of Supervisors after the ordinance had already been adopted, and there actually is no provision in the ordinance itself. I'm not sure if there ever was, but as long as we've been around, I'm not aware of one that actually specifies anything about a floodplain advisory board in the ordinance itself, whereas with zoning, it specifies that you need to have a zoning commission and a board of adjustment. So it's the thing where this is a voluntary creation of the county board of supervisors here in Des Moines County. It's not dictated directly by ordinance, and it also is not, from my experience, it isn't common. I'm actually not aware of any other counties that have something like this. So it seems to have largely been an organic effort to create in the first place. And while it certainly appears to have had value in the early years, as the county first started to administer that new floodplain ordinance, given that the number of meetings went significantly down after about 10 years, it's just sort of a question of is it really valuable to have that going forward? And so that's really where we're at this point.
I am the voice of experience. I think Zach asked me.
We've had
Said,
3.
how many? Nope,
Oh,
it
go
says
ahead,
here
go
you've
ahead.
had 5 since 2011.
According to our records, that's what.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so, and Zach said, well, how many meetings you attend? I said, I don't know, not very many, maybe 5. I think I was right.
You been to 5? Was it 5?
I was on that board.
You've been on the,
since
yeah, you've been
since
on there.
2000, I was sworn in to the board in January 2011. So, and they could see my potential and they made me floodplain advisory board. So it's said someplace you can't damage anything. And I've read this and some interesting things. But if you don't have a meeting for that board, especially, you've got Vicky Stoller there, which was at least 2 generations
Oh, man.
of wisdom, of experience. But I don't ever remember walking away from that and think that we'd accomplished anything. And this, was interesting going through there, and I guess things that stuck out to me, it looks like the current notification and appeals process is working. Like you said, down there in the Skunk River area, those maps are they're on appeal, so they're getting a hold of the people to be interested. And I don't know that this advisory board adds much, if any, value.
One of the things we discussed the other day too is if you didn't have the advisory board, that doesn't mean we still can't involve some of the folks that were on there, the levy districts, things like that, and just send them information. FEMA, when they come out with these things, are already sending it to them, but not that we can't do our own effort or something. But
there's 98 counties that get by without this board, except for us.
Well, the one thing that should be noted, though, is that in instances where there is countywide zoning, typically the county will adopt the floodplain ordinance as part of that larger zoning ordinance. So there are a number of counties where they do have. I have to.
well, they wouldn't have a separate committee, but like a zoning commission.
Right.
Yeah.
So there isn't a standalone floodplain board in any other county, but in some instances you do have, where it is under the umbrella of zoning, they do have that built in.
So we have a floodplain ordinance. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have the floodplain ordinance. At any point, does this advisory board have any duties within that ordinance?
No, that's what he said. They're not even referenced in the ordinance.
Not even referenced.
And it was created by resolution.
It's created by resolution by the supervisor.
I think it's really just, it's in the name, advisory, that they're there to provide guidance where there may be questions about provisions in the ordinance, how to enforce, whether a variance would be justified for whatever projects.
How many people are on the board currently?
5, including Tom as the board representative. So there's the board of supervisors representative, levy district, insurance industry. That's Bob Prawl, and then there's a county resident at large, which for the longest time was Jeff Bergman, was with county conservation, and he was around when this was first established. I think he may have been directly involved in that. He specifically requested to step down formally from that from a few years ago. We did appoint someone that he had recommended to replace him. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but he does have property within the floodplain. And then the other one is a resident in the floodplain, and that currently is Ron Wunderlich on not Tamaroa, but Edgewater Beach. So basically, it's just meant to be a group of people representing these certain sectors and backgrounds to provide guidance whenever there's an issue that comes up. And in the early years, it sounded like they would have a yearly meeting where it would just be reviewing what kinds of permits have been reviewed and the outcome of all that. So I think, as I said, it definitely had a value as far as I could tell in those early years. It sounded like they even had a discussion of when the 2 mile zoning was established, they had a discussion there, so.
5 meetings since 2011?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think everyone, at this point, it's when we have these the new firm maps for the southern end of the county, and then we'll have a couple ordinance changes, but that the state's recommending. But basically, that's the only time we meet is when we get these new maps. We get together, discuss it a little bit, and then they make a recommendation.
And I think we even
They would
discussed
still,
it.
no matter what, they would still come to you guys to be approved.
I think we discussed this with the last meeting in 2021 with the advisory board about how there hadn't been meetings very infrequently about what we want to see with the board going forward. And I think there was, I think for overall, at least from Mr. Bergman and then Ms. Stoller in particular, I think they, being the long-time representatives there, I think they definitely see the value in having it. It's just a question of, or at least having the discussion, and they see that the benefit that it's had over time. So the question is it really, in today's day and age, is it really the same as it was 20, 30 years ago? In particular, just the way the structure, the relationship between the DNR and the local floodplain administrators, how that and then the appeals process and all that. Because like we said, there's always an opportunity to have these same individuals participate, especially with the levy district. I think because I know in the past they've had concerns about the accuracy of the maps in the levy district. But again, there is a whole process for filing appeals on that. So as long as they're aware, as soon as these maps come out, that they have an opportunity to do so. And then I remember it was before we had even talked about the latest update to the ordinance that was countywide back in 2021. There was a meeting, I think we had it at the SERPC office about the Skunk River. When they first did that study, they were seeking input, and in particular they were trying to get input from those private landowners that they have a private levy down there, and they were having a hard time getting some details straightened out. So it seems like, I mean, I wasn't involved with this back in the day, but it seems like things are definitely, there's a lengthy, thorough process in place now, that it's not as if here come the maps and you got a couple months and then they go into effect. It's like there's a lot of,
It takes years.
Yeah. I mean, if there is an interest in keeping this board, I think it's one of those things where I know it gets lost in the shuffle in terms of all the other stuff we have going on with land use and otherwise. That if nobody's saying anything, if nobody's bringing up floodplain issues on a regular basis, it kind of tends to get forgotten about. So that's, again, part of the issue is without that regular impetus to do something, to have a discussion about this, it sort of just turns into, every 5 years, we need this, so we need them to make a recommendation to the board. So it just seems like if that's all it's going to be, I don't really see a value in it. So if it is going to go forward, I think it needs to be more proactively reach out to the members and like, what do you want to see out of this, and make it more of an interactive, regular thing as opposed to just every 5 years.
Well, I kind of have to agree with Tom, but we had 5 meetings since 2011. I mean, ultimately it comes down to the board of supervisors through you guys, what you're doing. I don't think you need that board.
The other 98 counties managed to get along without it. I don't see it creates any value. Matter of fact, it probably it would cost a little bit. You would have to pay to post meetings for agenda and just some of that stuff out. And it would be hard to fill my shoes.
Are you saying these two can't do your job?
Maybe together.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It would take 3 of me.
3.
You'd have to expand that board to include more board BOS members.
But I want to say first off though, for when they were, handling business and busy when we needed them, what I'm saying, I give kudos and golf clap on that. But things change, and if it's again 5 meetings since 2011, and everything does come to the board, maybe we don't have to have people put that time in, you know, and just go ahead and dissolve it, so.
And once again, in terms of putting time in, there's still, again, if people wanna review the maps and provide comment on this and has a concern they wanna bring to our attention, that's still an option.
Well, and I think the biggest concern is probably the levy district, and they already have a body that could come forward if they're so inclined, right?
Well, they have their own,
Yeah.
their own board, and they get, anytime there's the changes in their district, they should be getting notices anyway from FEMA, so. If they're at the meetings. Okay, I think we got the direction. We need to know one way or the other if we need to reappoint people or but we can, I think the option, we can just put a resolution together, I think, to basically dissolve it. And then sometime this spring, because there are these maps that are coming up, we'll just bring those directly to you guys.
There will be some text changes in the ordinance and we can identify what those, we've been communicating with DNR and I have to review those. There's not a lot, but there's like a few just procedural things based on the latest, because they keep.
They have like a best practices version.
Model ordinance.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
Thanks, guys.